How's it going? You guys can hear me? Try not to be too loud because Enzo is napping. And so I was going to have Jeff join me for some of this live. He hasn't joined me in a live in a long time, so let's see if he's there waiting. No, just saying you're going to join me for this one, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, here we go. How are you guys doing? Let's see if this works here with the volume. Plug in. I feel like, does it have to stick in here? Yes.
Right underneath.
Okay. All right. Can you guys hear me still? Is the volume okay? Yes? Can you hear? Okay. Love the lives with Jeff. Somebody's happy you're on for this.
Can you use this for questions?
Oh yeah, bring that out. Okay, I'm going to, I guess before we get into the live with other FAQs, obviously certain things that are happening right now, a lot of people are tripping out about the rally next week. And gosh, there's already so many nerves surrounding this rally next week. I just gotta say this, the videos that you're seeing online that people are posting and that little 30-second clip that everybody's viewing regarding Pan, first of all, he's talking about, he's prepping everybody, all of his other minions, that there's going to be a rally at the Capitol. And it's funny because in his video, he's like, if you guys know your history, they're going to be coming with the Guy Fawkes, and you're going, you mean like movie history? Because that's like not a true historical event. Like it's a movie. But the people that are doing, because of the whole Austin Bennett shenanigans that we discussed on yesterday's live, I don't want to get into it now again, because not that it's a waste of my time, but we've already addressed that. But because of those kind of shenanigans, they're going to be using what happened to, who knows, they're probably going to, I don't want to say where exactly my mind is going, because obviously they're psychos, so they're capable of any of this stuff. But they're going to use what happened with Mr. Bennett to paint us out to be what they want to paint us out to be. But here's the thing. Nobody is going to be going masked, okay? If you're a doctor or a nurse and you're participating in the protest and it's for job security reasons, they said you can wear a surgical mask if that makes you feel any better, you know? And that I have to be sympathetic and understanding. If it's for your job, you don't want to risk your job because you're also in healthcare, but you want to support the cause, then it's a surgical mask. But the activists that are going to be there are not going to be masked. The V for Vendetta thing, the demonstration that happened in the Comic-Con, that was obviously costumed because it was the Comic-Con. The Star Wars thing, you were in a mask if your character had a mask. Like if you're Chewbacca and I don't think we had any Chewbaccas, but like the Stormtrooper. But I mean, I was at the Star Wars event. I didn't have a mask. I mean, I was Princess Leia and I didn't get a mask. So that was because it was costume themed. All right. I want to say this with these kind of events, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Because when Joshua did those first two events, the Disney Star Wars and then the Comic-Con one, so many people came in, were like bummed that they didn't get an invite to it, or oh my gosh, had I known that this was happening, I would have. And now that he planned an event that he's like, well, okay, yeah, here you go, invite others. Like he let all the activists know that went to the Comic-Con one. If you have somebody else that you trust that you want, and obviously that got big. Like that one kind of spread like wildfire pretty fast to where people like Lorena heard about it, people like Pan. So here's what I got to say. If you're at any of these type of things, like they're already going to paint out anti-vaxxers to be a certain way. The likes of Lorena, when everybody was at the Capitol for one of the SB 276 hearings, she is that person that is like, oh my gosh, here's all these anti-vaxxers. They're going to be spreading the measles. Make sure that you get your measles vaccine. Like tweets like that would come from a woman like this, somebody who will go out in public with the norovirus that is clearly contagious. So this is already what we're up against, meaning if a bunch of anti-vaxxers were standing outside of the Capitol holding hands, singing Kumbaya, they are still going to paint us out to be villains, okay? That's how these narcissistic psychopaths roll. That's how they operate. So there's almost nothing you can do. They're probably going to have high security out there. They're probably going to be... What worries me is that they are painting us out to be people that are going to already be inciting violence, even though so many organizations, so many groups have already said we have nothing to do with this Bennett character. That doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter to them. So what are you going to do? Are you going to allow... We already know that the media is on their side. We already know that the media is a bunch of liars. Like, are you still seriously reading the LA Times and reading KTLA and reading Washington Post? These are the same organizations that expect America to believe that Jeffrey Epstein hung himself from a bunk bed while on suicide watch. And they're the same organizations that want us to continue to trust the government to be in charge of things like suicide watch. Like, how are you going to kill yourself on suicide? You must be like, he wins. I mean, I hope Guinness World Records, the next time they do their updates, like, they have to give him a spot in that book. Like, he committed suicide while on high security suicide watch, okay? This is the same media. So do we really care? Do we really care what the media is saying? They're saying a lot of things that no one's buying anyways. No one's buying. We need our own new network. Yeah, hi, Lyra. She's on, of course, you know, where are all these woke billionaires? It's the same people, really. Like, you put your money where your mouth is, or just knock it off, you know? The same people. They think that, like, the NRA, oh my God, the NRA is being funded by a bunch of billionaire people. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of very rich conservatives that support the NRA because they support the Second Amendment and the whole over my cold, dead hands. You can sit.
No,
he's like, stand. If you want to sit. You guys help. I'm like, and then with my husband, I'm like,
just more research.
I'm not this insane, I promise. It's like, he knows I'm insane. Why am I even trying to pretend that I'm not like that?
Just be who you are.
But where was I going with that? I had a point.
See, I interrupted the flow. Like, that's what I was saying. You're staying off.
I know. Sorry. But yeah, they're not to be trusted anyways. I was talking about the NRA thing. But then they're like complaining about the government funding with the whole Planned Parenthood. And it's like all the liberals that are rich, these celebrities that are rich complaining about Planned Parenthood. It's like no one's stopping you from donating to Planned Parenthood. You can donate in the millions to Planned Parenthood if you want to. Okay? Same like the rich conservatives can donate to whoever organization they want to donate to. That's how this works. Once they're woke, but they're keeping the secrets themselves, scared to come out. Yeah, got a lot of what my woke people on here right now. My stomach is growling.
That was mine.
Was that yours? We did Postmates today. I know, because I was like, we got to do this live.
We get so absorbed into work that we forget it's lunch or breakfast, and then next thing you know, it's dinner time. We haven't ate yet.
So you're the Postmates thing. So yeah, so the thing with the rally is, you know what? Everything that keeps coming up, they're just trying to silence us left and right. What they're doing right now is kind of working because it is freaking a lot of people out. We're sitting back getting scared. You guys, we have a lot of reason already to be scared. That's why we're activists in the first place. That's why we advocate in the first place. There's a lot of things happening right now that are not okay. That's getting us into a place where we're uncomfortable. We got to get out of our comfort zone and go out and already do something like this. So yeah, it's okay. There's gonna be their warped version of drama around this whole situation. I just think we stick to it. There's gonna be hundreds of very woke individuals out there that are gonna be tribing up big time, and they are afraid. Like, this lets you know how much of a dent this movement is making. Nothing that they're doing is stopping the movement. Like, everything they're doing is actually growing the movement. You don't call a bunch of parents who are questioning the safety and efficacy of a product that's being mandated, you don't call a bunch of them public health threats. Because all you're doing is waking up people to the movement to begin with. Like, a lot of people who genuinely had no care or interest in the anti-vax movement care now because the movement's being silenced. It's like when I heard about that they wanted to silence flat earthers. Not that I'm just saying, I was like, why would they want to do that? Why would they want to remove that documentary? Or they removed the documentary Root Cause because the American Dental Association was getting fed up with all the complaints from dentists that were coming in saying, I'm getting all these people calling in that want their root canals removed, that they want to, because of all of these chronic issues that are coming up and the percentages and well, instead of addressing and trying to prove everybody wrong and being like, no, we have proof. We have solid proof that your root canals have nothing to do with all your chronic illness, even though it's on the same side and all the other like crazy reasons. We're going to just demand that these platforms like Amazon, Netflix, all that, we're going to demand that they take down a documentary. What did that do? Now you got people trying to underground this documentary. Like, hey, you got that documentary? Like, can you send it to me? Can you, like, that's what people are doing. You know, people are having parties where they invite people to their homes and they're doing like vaxxed viewing parties or, I've seen it. I've seen some people are doing that with their Bible studies.
They're called Vardis.
Right. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. You're cute. Jeff is just like, yeah, what she said. Sorry. I know I'm having you on here. We're supposed to be doing like a bit of Q&A. And yeah, hey man, I know it's like drugs, right? To go, you got that documentary out there? Like, you know, it's
the trench coat. You open it up.
I see like you want to buy a sundial? Hey, you got some of that, or that meme of the, what's his face? Dave Chappelle with the cocaine meme, but it's like, you got any more of that,
Tyrone Biggins?
It's so bad, right? You make something illegal, you make something, you get it out of the public, you tell people they're not allowed to do something, and what happens? People get interested. That's human nature, and I think it's something that these powers that be are just never going to understand. You cannot squash curiosity in an individual, okay? You just can't. You can't do it, because you got people waking up going, since when did the government really care about our teeth and the health of our teeth? Because they're telling you that that's why fluoride's in the water.
They don't.
And then you look into it and you go, oh, they don't care about our teeth. They don't care about our health. But they got a lot of opinions. And now I got opinions. And they want my opinions silenced. And that's not okay. So.
Oh, freedom of speech going down the drain.
Right? Got any more of that truth? I like that. I like that. We can go on with that one. So yeah, I don't know. We're going to answer some of these questions.
Just looking at your meme.
I know. And I couldn't send that to everyone else because they'd be like, aren't you Christian? You shouldn't be laughing at that. I have a lot of memes that...
We are allowed to have humor as well.
Yeah, I know. But like the minute I post something, you get these people that come on there really judgmental. You're like, dude, can I live? Like, can I live? Can I laugh? What's going on? So a lot of people are asking about if we're ever going to do a survival prep highlights. And we were going to, and you didn't want to.
So the thing with that is, you know, there's always going to be something else you're going to want to add to or some extra knowledge. So, I mean, there's always a good base to start with. But there's, at least for me, I feel like there's just not enough. There's never going to be enough knowledge acquired, never enough skills.
No, but you didn't want to share it because of like...
And also, you know, you don't want to share everything that you have because that could make you a potential target.
Yeah, so...
For people wanting either your supplies or whatever else. So it doesn't... I don't want to put everything out there. But I'll put like basic stuff out there. Like I think I posted about the fire starter, which was super fun.
You know,
Pyro and me.
I think right now, while we still have internet, while it's still the age of information somewhat, and not everything's being censored,
Get it while you can.
you can go on YouTube and look up preppers and look up survival kits and type in best survival blank, and then look at these lists, because it's such a personal thing to set up. Like, the kind of things we need are not going to be what you need. I mean, we have a family of 5 that we're going to have to fend for. So, and we also live in a desert climate. So we had to, like, Nicole let me know to go and get a topography type of map, which looks like,
We have
go
that.
grab it.
Also, what's good is you can download a lot of this stuff to your phone and just save it into PDF, so you can still access it in case Wi-Fi is unavailable.
This is legit, because this is like, if everything were to be done and the grid is locked and you have no access to your phone, you can't look up. I was about to say MapQuest. Like, nobody uses MapQuest anymore. But like Google
That's
Maps, like, that won't be working. So, like, do you know the land where you're at? Like, first of all, do you know how to read one of these things? Like, so we get this, and this is just for this state, Nevada. And I'm going, well, I should probably get the ones for surrounding states too, because we need to know where the closest water source is going to be and stuff like that. So I also don't want to give you like way too much and overload you with that. But if you're living in a place where you have a water source like a big lake nearby or a stream, you're already better off than we are. We have to now, water would be our biggest issue. So there were a lot of reasons that we also don't want to, this whole red flag law thing is kind of tripping me out too. Like, when you look up any of this stuff on preppers, some of these comments, they'll be like, first of all, if you're a prepper, you don't tell people you're a prepper. It's like, the first rule of being a prepper is you don't say that you're a prepper. You don't want people to know. Yeah, like, the last thing we would want is for, especially for people who know where we live, to like know that we have all of this stuff and what we have, because we don't want them coming here.
I guarantee you're going to be answered with
no, we don't want them coming here, and it's like a no offense kind of thing. But there's still a lot of resources out there, and just please, I hope, like, if you have been waiting since we've been talking about this stuff, I hope that you don't, because
if anything, think about your essentials: fire, water, shelter, food. Those are going to be some of the most
protection.
Number one, absolutely. Especially, once supplies start to dwindle in supermarkets or anywhere else where they sell them, then that's when things start to get kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And like Talia was mentioning, the area that we live in, what we need will be greatly different from, let's say you live somewhere that's more mountainous or somewhere where there's a lot of water, or in the city. So you really just need to cater it towards your environment and your needs.
Yeah, and it's not to incite fear. It's just this journey in our life right now where we're coming to realize that a lot of the things that we weren't taught were by design. And exactly, it is a process. I like that you mentioned that. So we're just kind of like, why would they have wanted to shelter us from all of this? Why have they left human beings so dependent on their system? And their system is clearly broken. So that's a big deal for us too, that we're just like, we just want to learn this kind of stuff. So if I've got people that are, well, why are you learning this? Why is there something we should know? It's like, no.
Better to be prepared, right?
Yeah, you should know about what's going on around the country. Like, you should know that we are in a time right now of a food shortage. That is not by any means to incite fear. There's a lot of farmers that are out there that are warning people of the food shortage, and they're also saying that the news isn't reporting things correctly. Surprise, surprise. You should realize that the majority of Americans are relying on the government to feed them, and when a lot of the food sources are kind of being depleted, it should trouble us that 80% of our food is we're depending on it coming from other countries, where we used to be, over 20 years ago, exporting our goods. We were exporting 60% because we were helping other countries out. Now we are dependent, 80% dependent on their food, other countries' food supplies. And then you have to know that, like, countries like China kind of don't really want much to do with us anymore, because they're feeling like they're just giving, and we're just taking. So there's things like that we're going, we're just trying to find a different kind of quality of life. We're not judging other people on what they want to do with their life, what they deem is, worthy of a happy life, it's just not for us. That's it. We do like LifeStraw. LifeStraw is good. The whole universal income, the fact that many people are like for that, for the universal income, it's kind of scary. Yeah. That was a long way to answer that question. I'm sorry, but
I was just thinking this whole time too, when you mentioned the food shortage, if we didn't have access to it, you know, if we had to go hunt our own food and then skin it, clean it, like those are all things that I find that are interesting. So I'm excited to learn all this new stuff. It's a new frame of mind and a new way to just provide for our family.
Yeah. We're also looking into, obviously we've been really into the hemp thing, just because of the lie. Like, oh my gosh, this stuff really, it's so many
uses. Not just health, but just it goes beyond that, more into construction.
Yeah,
which would be huge.
Like I'm telling you, these companies that have that right mindset of, you know, how you're insulating your home, what we're learning is, like, back then they were using hemp for insulation, and it comes with, I mean, you're not breathing in what they have in your walls. Because right now, the way that they're building up these houses, like these tract homes, they're just able to pop up like this, like no problem. They would seriously, that's why in a fire, these things would light up and crumble to the ground within like minutes. You used to have way more time, but now since everything's like synthetic and with chemical, these things are burning, and they're burning fast. And it just kind of makes you... Not that hemp, you can't burn hemp, obviously. I'm just saying these guys are going to be billionaires. These people that are coming up with like the methods to insulate homes with hemp. And I just think that as human beings, we are just remarkable, unique individuals. And so you really need to look into universal income. I think I saw a person asking on there, because I don't want that to take up the entire talk. But it's like pretty much people that believe that we should all just be given the same amount of money every month. I think the number that those in charge have come up with was like $3,000. They think that if you give people just $3,000 a month, everybody gets the same income. That, well, obviously you're gonna have to be compliant with everything else that they push your way, right? You have to. What's gonna happen if you disobey them? They're gonna just freeze your money. So I think anything like that teeters on communism, socialism, I think is a big red flag for me. So yeah, yay socialism. No, thank you. No, thank you. Yeah. There were other questions that come in. You guys had questions for Jeff and I. I've done so many talks on the MMR, and you know, Instagram just doesn't want to save or record, so that sucks, and I feel like it's a big waste of time. Not that it's a waste of time to go look into it. Like, there's a lot of sources out there still on the MMR. I just can't help what Instagram decides to remove, which really sucks. That's why we keep the private platform that we have here. But still, trolls will get in, you know. I had Samantha message me earlier today, and she sent me these messages that were, I hope she's okay with me talking about this. I won't out these people. But she sent me these really alarming screenshots from acquaintances. Like, one of her followers was in some group on Facebook where they were talking crap about her, about Samantha. And this person, like, screenshot them and sent them over to Samantha. And it was like somebody that she had gone to school with, that was literally the words that she was using were like, ew, I can't believe that this girl she's like one of the, I think she called her like the queen of anti-vaxxers or something. And she was like, she's got like over 20,000 followers and she needs to be eliminated. Those were literally the words. She needs to be eliminated. She likely meant she needs to be eliminated like off of social media. I mean, you read words like that and you're going, golly, that's a lot of threat out there. Like, that's a lot of hatred out there for somebody. And she's going, like, I wish we could just get rid of her. She even admits on this thread that she's only following Samantha so that she can report all her posts. You know, she can just like, yeah, Samantha Natural. I mean, so she was saying like, I only follow, I know it's a private account, but I follow so that I can report her posts as spam. And you're going, wow, this is already somebody that you have as an acquaintance. What more, a stranger? So that's how, if people that are like, how are your posts being removed? And, what's going on? Is this paranoia? No, it's likely haters that are already amid, that are already like part of your circle that you think you can trust, and they're doing the reporting.
It's a dangerous blend of haterade and fluoride going on out there.
Yeah. For me, I'm like, that just sounds like a very jealous person, but whatever it is in this day and age of censorship, you have people out there that are not your friends, that are like, and forget the movement. They just are excited to see you fall, That's why you have to be picky. And I'm telling you, I'm okay with people that will message me like, hey, this person's following you. They're not to be trusted, or they're sketchy or whatever. Like, that's okay with me. Like, my block list is pretty long at this point. So, and if Instagram goes, it goes, I don't know. What's that one? What's that question?
If you weren't woke, where do you think your life would be? You'd be a zombie. Mombi.
So we were talking about this last night a little bit for a quick second.
Not so much the woke part.
No.
But yes.
But I did mention that, I talk a lot of smack on California because I'm obviously really bitter, and I've shared that before. We are from California. As much as I can't stand California and the direction it's headed right now, that's where we met. So I also that's where we met. We met in a little town in San Diego.
Before all
very
the
random
crap started happening, yeah.
So there was a reason we had to be there, and we had to have our first babies there, and it served its purpose for us, and we're gone. If we weren't woke, we'd probably still be in California.
Yep.
God knows what kind of health issues my kids might have, because currently they don't have any. Like, they don't have.
We're good.
We don't have issues like others. So we're always grateful that we were woken up to this sooner than later. Because I don't know. Gosh, if I wasn't woke, that's a loaded question. Where do you think you would be in life?
That's like a alternate universe.
Yeah. I don't know. Probably still just doing the wedding photography thing in California. It really, I still do a bit of wedding photography, but it was definitely full time. We did that for, it's been over a decade. So definitely we were full time at it for at least 5-6 years together, and making pretty great money doing that.
I might still be in corporate America.
Jeff would probably still be,
Possibly,
doing the corporate America thing. So,
What's
your
up,
friend's
Daniel?
on. Daniel's on. Hi. So, what other questions here? One thing you could tell your younger self. Oh my gosh.
Don't drink the water.
Oh my gosh, if I could go back
So
and
much.
tell my younger self one thing, jeez, where would it have all pivoted and gone wrong?
That's a hard question.
That is a hard question. I'd probably tell my younger self, he ain't shit. And then that would have saved me like a few years of grief. How about I tell my younger self, like, hey, any of these people that you think are like something are going to be like nothing when you're older. Like, back off, back away. That's what I do with the kids. Like, and this isn't just people that I've known in my life. Like, this is also like crushes I've had. Like, every celebrity crush I've had, what they turned out to be, I wish I had some kind of sight to that, because then I'd be like, dang, I wasted a lot of time as like a 8-year-old in love with Macaulay Culkin, or Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
JT squared.
Right? I feel like so we do that with our kids now. I know that that's terrible, but like, Amelia will be watching Home Alone. She has a crush on Macaulay Culkin, and I'm like that parent that's showing her what Macaulay Culkin looks like now and what he's been through and like what Hollywood is really like. And I know that that's not conventional, but
It's a reality, though. You can't shelter your kids, and she's mature enough.
well, like
to understand.
Seb, like you could tell he has a crush on like the Olsen twins because they love he'll watch some episodes of Full House, or he'll watch some other their movies that are
early on,
where they're not as like there's not really an agenda there. So, but then he'll be like, oh, and you could tell he thinks that they're cute, and then I'll just like show him an updated picture of Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen and be like, what do you think of that? Don't do drugs.
Eat more food.
So yeah, whatever. Those are just our methods. Saves them. I feel like it saves people a lot of grief. And there's a lot of other questions. Okay, anything that's TRS related. I just spent all day yesterday on TRS. I'm so tired of TRS. Just revert to the TRS page because I did a lot on there.
Check out some of the frequently asked questions. A lot of questions can be answered there as well.
Share what your kids eat. We do share what they eat often.
They eat what we eat. They don't get a choice.
Yeah. We cook one meal. We try to include a little bit of everything. Definitely a protein in there,
Lots of veggies.
And there are some veggies that they don't really like or care for, and they eat them.
Yeah, Amelia doesn't like mushrooms.
But if there's one that they truly hate, like I hated ginger as a kid. And if my mom was making any of her dishes, the chicken curry, whatever, there was like these big pieces of ginger, she wouldn't force me to down the ginger. She'd be like, well, just eat what you can, because the ginger she knew was already kind of like soaked up into the sauce. So we're not doing that either. Like if there's something they truly hate, I'm not sitting there forcing them to eat something. But I'm on the complete opposite end of that spectrum. There's some parents that are like, for them, it's cruel to make your kids eat anything, but they like let their kids pick and decide what they want to eat. And they think that what we're doing by making our kids eat broccoli or making our kids have cauliflower is cruel. I think it's cruel to let your 5-year-old decide what they want to eat and what's best for them.
They don't know about nutritional value. They don't know what their body needs, so how would they know? They're going to go with what tastes good.
Yeah, if we let Seb pick dinner, he'd choose to
sandwich.
eat every night,
And a Jolly Rancher or something odd like that. So, we can let the kids pick which veggies they want to eat. Maybe
we don't judge how other people. I mean, well, no, that's a lie. We sit back and we judge, but amongst each other. Like we'll sit back and obviously, I think every couple does that, right?
I judge as much as Enzo's eyebrows.
But we won't like go out there and be like, oh my gosh, look at this mom and what she's doing, and like target certain people. No, we don't do that. That's also why we don't want to be giving too much advice out either. But people ask, but yeah, they'll eat what we eat.
Oh, man, my choice as a kid when it came to food was you eat what I give you, or you get a spanking, and then you still eat what I give you.
Well, that's terrible.
Yeah.
But see, for those that are out
there, a different age, though. We're
also not like beating our kids. But they have all, and Enzo will too. So we've also only had that one high chair. It used to have like a cloth backing to it.
But wore out.
Our first 2 babies kind of, ripped that up. So Enzo's sitting on that now, and that's why we have like the towel backing. We definitely were like recycle things. We, everything Enzo's had. I think he has only like 2 outfits that are new that he's ever worn. Everything else has been just hand me down, and that's okay. Like he hasn't complained.
He doesn't.
But they all had to go through, I think it's between 18 months to 2.5 that are really hard years for us, where they're sitting in their high chair just for an extended amount of time because they have to finish. And we're portion control too. Like I'm not putting way too much food in front of these kids. We're putting a very reasonable amount of food in front of them. That they fight with us, but we try to spend that time, those years, like that time, really in that training mode, because then it will make life easier, so that we aren't dealing with a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old or 6, 7, 8. That's
it's
like
tantrums because they can't get what they want in the restaurant.
Yeah, we don't do that, and we don't go through that. I know that many parents do. And many parents are like, well, I just was so traumatized because my mom made me eat all day. And it's like, okay, you took your trauma to a whole other level, though, where you couldn't at least be picky and choosy about what, like, you don't have to be beating your kids while they're sitting there, that's different. You don't have to threaten your kids with a belt or anything.
That's my past. Let's leave it back there.
Yeah, but you can definitely pick from what kind of works. We don't want to be short order cooks here. We also, if things go wrong or things go down, we're also not trying to raise a bunch of like, you know, the kind of consumer society that we're in right now. We are like, I don't know, we think about the kids and what we would do in a survival type situation.
What
are you going to do, kid? You can't complain if this is all that we have to eat.
Eat this slug. It's high in protein.
And if the kid doesn't want to eat the slug or whatever that's in front of them, then they're just not going to eat. That's the reality of that. So that's it. Kids will eat what you feed them. And I do agree with a lot of those parents, too, that are like, look, if it's not in your house, if you're not getting them used to seeing that all day long, like seeing the snacks and things in the pantry, then they're not going to ask for it because it's not in their face. So we have to be more mindful, too, when we're shopping, I guess.
Yeah.
You know. But we do, every now and then there's a cheat. Every now and then there's like a, you know, you're doing exactly what I'd be doing. Love the, yeah, and the kids with their tea, like the turmeric, ginger, garlic tea. Yeah, it's not going to be your kid's favorite tea, especially if they're used to drinking like Gatorade all day long, organic Gatorade, because you know that they make organic Gatorade. But they'll drink it. And it's like, I don't know what it is then at that point, because then they trust us. Well, you know mommy's making you drink this because she loves you, right? Yeah. Okay, so drink it. You know, if you don't drink this, I'm going to take you to the pediatrician and get you all those shots that you're I'm just kidding. I don't want. All right. What else? We get asked that a lot with the kids with the vitamins and the flu and how we deal with that.
No, they pretty much get everything from their food.
Yeah, they get a lot of stuff from their food, and I've shared, there's like a healthy kid highlight that I have where we share the products we use. It's just what's worked for our family. It might not be the same for every family, but our kids only get sick like once a year. And it's like a really tough 3 to 4 days, and then they're over it. She's like, eat it or you're going to the doctor to get those vaccines. Yeah. I haven't been sick in 2 years. See, that's awesome. I feel like, yeah, the last time I was really, really sick was a while back. I don't want to jinx myself, though. If I get sick again, then I get sick. I'm anticipating getting sick because of just everything going on, you know.
Mine's usually right after Christmas, January. Roughly.
I feel full. That's also when, like, outbreaks start spreading. Just kidding. There's an outbreak every day. Like, guys, it's always, I've said this, it's always flu season, just like it's always Shark Week. It's just, they got stuff to sell, you know? It's just, they got a business here to run.
Can you imagine when they do that stress vaccine? Stress outbreaks all across the nation.
That's how I'm feeling like it is now with all of these promos that they're doing. It's like those companies that you sign up and you get on their email list for God knows why. You're like, God, I never gave you access to this. And it's always like, hurry now, sale ends now, 20%. And you're going, see, no, it doesn't. Because in 3 days, you're going to send me another email of a sale that like is ending. And I only have today to use it. And that's how
you're creating that
the pharmaceutical industry
urgency and impulse.
All of it. All of it. I'm going, you know, those companies, when they do that, they just let me know that I got to just buy their product during a sale because they have a lot of sales. And when you hear about any of them, you could literally name one off the top of your head right now. I mean, any of you people that have used like the Shutterfly, literally every company, right? You just sit back and you wait till their product goes on sale then, because if it's not this week, it's going to be next week. All of it, you know, or just disconnect from the machine, period. Yeah.
Look at this question. What gun will you let your husband buy next? It's a good one. Thank you, Anonymous. You got to answer that question. And just
that was not anonymous. Well, I know. Which one do you want next? It's that one that's way too expensive.
Am I getting that one? Your dad's going to get that one. What if I get two, like, decent priced ones?
I just feel like we've got enough. Also don't want to like talk about like the guns and stuff that we have.
Okay.
You know?
So she's saying get one that's not expensive, is what she said.
Yeah. Children's
Just like
place sale almost every day. Oh yeah, all of these places with their sales. Like who's really shopping and spending full
Our
price?
kids try and do sometimes where they ask you a question in front of an audience because they think it's going to get you something.
Yeah, and I'm going, no, time out. You're in time.
Oh, man.
What are some of these others? So vitamin questions, TRS. Are you participating in the Millions March near you?
I hope they're not having one out here in this type of heat right now.
So
Everybody
it's
out.
like 110, 115 out. So that really depends. And I'm already spending a couple days next week leaving town to do my, activism for the month. It's going to cost me, and I don't know. I guess it depends on where we are, because the kids are also, that's like a long weekend, right? So it really depends where we are. I support you. I support you if it's something that you want to do. I know that it's a mess in certain areas. Some areas got it way more under control than others. I support you if you want to do it. I'm still undecided because I also don't want to be out there. They spray a lot here too.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, they spray a lot here. So I'd have to be out there masked. You guys are like, you shouldn't be wearing a mask. I'd have to go out there fully masked. And then it's hot, And then have you seen like the people out here? Have you been to Vegas? Have you been to Las Vegas, Nevada? Have you seen that? I don't know, guys. I don't know. They're handing out like hooker pamphlets out on the strip, and I'm going to be like handing out stuff for like Hep B info, Here, since you guys should be very concerned with STDs, very concerned, because not everything that happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Learn the risk. I don't know what that's going to get me. It is. It's all these hooker pamphlets for sure. All right, what else is going on here? Also, you're awesome. Oh, that. Thank you. I've done a talk on the meningitis. That should be a live that's still saved on my YouTube, hopefully. The homeschooling our kids. Very soon here, do we want to homeschool our kids? We really do. What's stopping us? Our minds, I think. Also, our daughter really loves school. She really loves her school and this new one that she's going to.
Social butterfly.
She loves it. And my daughter doesn't. She's very woke, okay? She takes everything her teachers say with a grain. I have letters, emails. We've got like at least 10 at this point of emails since kindergarten from her teachers of like debates she's gotten into with them. So we're not that worried also about Amelia. She's very bright. But seeing the curriculum and what's going on, we know it doesn't even matter. It's not going to be a private school. We don't even care. 5th grade is, I think, our peak. We cannot afford to send our kids to any kind of schooling where anybody else is handling them past that 5th and 6th grade thing. Also, it's a personality thing. She's a bit of a people pleaser lately. So I feel like she would be the type to go against us just because she's mad at us for something and side with a friend. So that's not going to happen anytime past the age of like 10, 11,
I mean, even when we do get into that, there's going to be several activities that will take her out. So she'll still have plenty of social life as well.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that stuff.
But if we were in California, we'd definitely be homeschooling at this point. We would have had to figure it out, or be leaving California. We'd probably be trying to leave right now.
Thinking about it, I'm excited to have a curriculum for our kids. We can teach them stuff that they would really need in the real world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hunter-gathering stuff. Yay.
See, that would be really fun. And then the fact that, everything else is kind of free out there. Not free like money wise, but they don't have to, like everyone else is in school. So everywhere you want to go and take your kids is kind of vacant, even in terms of travel. So yeah. What'd you say?
I was asked a couple times.
What made you choose Nevada? Well, because when we left California, we were still doing about 40 weddings a year. We were doing wedding photography. 40 weddings a year. That the following year, I still had like 30 weddings, and they were all in California. So I also had to be somewhere that was not in California, that was close enough, and we're about 4 hours away. So when we drive into California, that's when everybody is, when we're leaving Vegas on a Friday night, that's when everybody is coming into Vegas. And then when we're coming back to Vegas Sunday, everybody's getting out of town. So it kind of worked out perfectly in terms of travel. I know that flights are, I could have moved to Texas and it would have been a 2-hour flight, but sometimes we book very last minute, and in order for it to be worth it, that's kind of why we ended up here. It took us 6 trips. 6 trips that we made out here.
They're good for small businesses out here as far as taxes.
Yeah.
You still have plenty of freedoms out here. So one of my concerns was that if I am protecting my family in the home, there's an intruder and, he gets wounded by me for some reason. California just seems to be so backwards that I would probably be the one ended up going to jail, protecting my family, and that's definitely not right. So I wanted to make sure we went somewhere where I can protect myself, my family, my property, those who can't protect themselves, and it's justified.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're big on that here. No income taxes. That was kind of nice. So the first year we moved out here, when we were doing our taxes, our tax guy was like, "You saved it was like close to 10,000."
Yeah.
Right. We saved like almost 10 grand in just not having to pay the state of California. It's amazing. So that was kind of nice. Yeah. We had to take all these trips out here too, just to make sure that it was a place that we could see ourselves living. And I had to see that there was life
outside the Strip.
Because all I knew of Vegas was the Strip, And the prices were actually really cheap. That's the only reason we bought a house, because we were seeing 5-bedroom homes out here in like guard-gated communities going for like $1,400, $1,500 a month in rent. So we're like, if that's the rent,
just buy. What's
the mortgage like? Obviously now everything's kind of gone up. It's not anywhere as high as California, but it was like as soon as they announced the Raiders Stadium was coming out here, the Resorts World Casino, it's like an $8 billion project casino that's coming out. All these jobs and all equity everywhere here went up like crazy. So, yeah, I think every property just in our neighborhood got like an extra 80 to 100,000 in equity just because of all the builds happening. So it was definitely worth the move. But we've never been, at least I've never been.
What?
Even when you started dating me, I was very, like, my friends have always called me the gypsy. I have never lived my life attached to a place. I know people who get so attached to walls and structures that, why do we keep looking over there?
What?
You keep looking over there.
The trees are moving, and it makes me think that somebody's over there, so it always catches my peripheral vision.
Oh, okay. But I've never been like the kind of person that, because we made memories in this one place, I can't ever leave this one place. And I think it's because I also grew up pastor's daughter, and we traveled every 5 years. My dad would get like moved to a different church, so we were always moving. And yeah,
I grew up military, so we were moving all the time.
Yeah.
Even after my dad retired, we moved constantly. And I felt like the only time I ever stayed in a place for a while was actually when I met you.
Which was where?
California.
That's true. No, well, I know
well,
that.
No, we moved several places, but I'm just saying that we were always moving every few years.
Yeah, because I don't know. I'm like, you live not where it's comfortable to live. You live where it's important to live. My dad always told me that too. And And so I know that moving here, I promised him with this one 5 years. I know we're only coming up on like our fourth.
I'm ready to go.
We're like getting that itch again to leave and discover other places and other things. And this house means a lot to us, sure. Like Enzo was born in this house, but we make memories anywhere we are together as a family.
And
like,
those memories don't stay in the house. We take those with us. You know, they're in our mind, or they're part of our family, or we have photos or videos. So
yeah,
you know, I'm ready to go. I've been looking up properties everywhere right now.
And I had a post the other day too, because I want to know where people don't want to go. Before it was like, what is the place that makes the most sense to live? Like, where will people come to still visit? And we're on this whole other, it's crazy, right? We moved to Vegas because we're like, well, our friends will still come and see us because everyone comes to Vegas. And there's always a reason to come to Vegas, whether it's like a show or great food. And, you know, I'm always like, some of the best chefs in the world want to open up restaurants in Vegas. So there's no shortage here of like really good food, really good dining, entertainment. But now we're like, you know what paradise actually is? The places in this country that the average populace has no desire to go to. Like, what are some of the states that in your mind you never want to go to visit because you were probably told to never go visit? There's no like sales pitch to come stay there. I feel like those are the places that are actually where you want to be. I'm not going to go and say exactly the places, or people out there?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go and say which places, but you guys know the states, right? And then you look up these states, okay, and certain areas that I'm checking out right now where I told myself I'll never move there. That's where a lot of these CEOs of some of the biggest businesses own property and land. And like, that's where they go to be left alone. So, our Thai food's here. So I'm thinking that.
Yeah, like we said before, I don't mind going over some of the basic things. I like it. It's